It's Tuesday night. Kids are finally asleep. You do something you've been avoiding for months. You log in to your retirement account. The number staring back at you? Roughly what a decent used car costs. And the worst part, you make good money. You always have. You've never been reckless. You just somehow got to your 40s doing everything you were supposed to do and ended up here. If that hit a nerve, good. Because today we're going through every major money milestone you need to hit in your 40s. Not the vague, feel-good kind, the specific, uncomfortable, backed by math kind. I'm Mike. Let's get into it. Before we get to the milestones, meet Dave. He's 43, makes $95,000 a year, married with 2 kids, a mortgage, 2 car payments, and $87,000 in a 401k he hasn't checked since he enrolled. He's not broke. He's not reckless. He's just floating. And as we're about to see, that's its own kind of problem. Milestone 1. Know exactly where you stand. Fidelity says you should have 3 times your salary saved by 40, 6 times by 50. On Dave's $95,000 income, that's $285,000 by 40 and $570,000 by 50. Dave has $87,000. He's not a little behind. He's roughly $200,000 behind the 3 times benchmark, and if nothing changes, close to $500,000 behind the 6 times benchmark by the time he turns 50. The Federal Reserve's data shows the median retirement balance for Americans 35 to 44 is around $60,000. For 45 to 54-year-olds, about $115,000. Against Fidelity's benchmarks, the average American is 3 to 4 times below where they should be, and 36% of non-retirees have nothing saved, 0. A 40-year-old who wants $1 million by 65 needs to invest about $1,234 a month at a 7% return. A 25-year-old needs just $381 for the same outcome. That's an $853 monthly penalty for being 15 years late. Every year you delay in your 40s costs roughly $60,000 to $66,000 in lost future wealth per $1,000 a month you're investing. The milestone? Log in today. Add up every retirement account you have. Compare it to 3 times your salary. Write down the gap. That number is now your project for the next 10 years. Milestone 2. Kill the right debt in the right order. People in their 40s are carrying some of the most chaotic debt loads in history. Average credit card balance for this age group? Around $9,100, the highest of any bracket. Student debt still haunting roughly 1 in 5 people in their 40s, averaging $42,000 to $45,000. And auto loans, Dave has 2, averaging $28,500 per vehicle. Add it up, and the average person in their 40s is carrying over $115,000 in non-mortgage debt. Money that could be compounding, instead servicing the past. The hierarchy. First, credit cards. This is an emergency, not a background inconvenience. Paying off a 22% credit card is a guaranteed 22% return. Index funds average 8 to 10% historically. You cannot beat that. Investing aggressively while carrying high-interest card debt is like filling a bucket with a hole in the bottom. Second, car loans. Dave's 2 payments are probably around $1,400 combined per month. $16,800 a year flowing into assets that lose value every single day he drives them. If he invested that same $1,400 a month at 8% returns, he'd have roughly $1.09 million over 30 years. His 2 cars will be worth about $11,000 in a decade. Run that math and you can't unsee it. Third, student loans. If you're still carrying them, put an actual end date on the calendar. Not a vague intention, a date. The psychological weight of open-ended debt you've been dragging for 15 years is its own tax on your decision-making. Milestone 3. The things 76% of you haven't done. Only 24% of Americans have a will. The 35 to 54 age bracket, you and Dave, is the single largest group with no estate planning documents whatsoever. Worse than 18-year-olds. Here's what happens when Dave has no will and something goes wrong. His assets go to probate, a court-supervised process that has no idea what he wanted, takes 6 months to 2 years, and costs $15,000 to $40,000 in legal fees. Who raises his kids? A judge who's never met them. Only 36% of parents with minor children have a will. Nearly 2/3 have outsourced the most important decision of their lives to state law. A basic estate plan, will, durable power of attorney, healthcare directive costs $1,000 to $2,500 with an attorney, one time. You'll spend more effort this year researching a new TV. Here's the piece almost no one mentions. Your 401k, IRA, and life insurance pass directly to whoever is named on the beneficiary designation form. They completely bypass your will. If Dave got divorced in his 30s, updated his will, but forgot to update his 401k beneficiary, his ex-wife gets the retirement account. His current wife gets nothing from it. Check every account and every policy this week. Milestone 4. Life insurance, the math that should make you move. About half of Americans in their 40s have no life insurance at all. Among those who do, roughly half are underinsured. The standard recommendation is 10 to 12 times your annual income in coverage. On Dave's $95,000 salary, that's $950,000 to $1.14 million. His employer provides 1 times his salary, $95,000, which covers his family for about 18 months before the money runs out. The number that should make you act today. A $500,000 20-year term policy for a healthy 40-year-old male costs about $35 to $67 a month. That same policy for a 50-year-old costs 2 to 3 times more. Premiums rise roughly 8 to 10% for every year you wait past 40. And if your health changes before you get around to it, a diagnosis, a new medication, anything flagged on blood work, premiums spike or you get declined entirely. Get a 20-year term policy covering 10 to 12 times your income. Not whole life, not universal life, not whatever a commission-based salesperson is excited to walk you through over a 2-hour lunch. Term insurance does one thing: pays your family if you die before the policy expires. Any policy that also builds cash value is primarily building value for the person selling it. Milestone 5. The college versus retirement trap. If you have kids heading toward college, you're feeling the pressure. Dave's daughter is 14. 4 years at a state school will run around $120,000 to $140,000 by the time she arrives. And like a good parent, Dave is quietly considering pausing his 401k contributions to build a college fund. One rule that overrides every instinct here: retirement savings come before college savings, every time, without exception. Not because your kid's education doesn't matter, because there is no such thing as a retirement loan. There is no program that hands you money at 72 because you prioritized tuition over your own future. What does exist is a very real scenario where Dave runs out of money at 74 and becomes financially dependent on the daughter whose college he sacrificed everything to fund. That's not a gift, that's a burden with good intentions attached. Pausing contributions for just 2 years in your 40s can cost over $100,000 in lost compounding. Withdrawing from a 401k early triggers a 10% penalty plus income taxes. Dave could lose 30 to 40 cents of every dollar before his daughter registers for a single class. And here's what nobody mentions: 75% of undergraduates receive financial aid. College sticker prizes are not what most families actually pay. Plus, the Secure 2.0 Act now allows up to $35,000 in unused 529 funds to roll into a Roth IRA, so even if you oversave for education, there's an exit ramp. There has never been and will never be an exit ramp for undersaving for retirement. Fund retirement first, then direct genuine surplus toward a 529. In that order, always. A lot of people in their 40s feel a deep pull toward paying off the mortgage early. It's emotionally appealing. But for over 60% of homeowners who locked in rates below 4% during the pandemic, aggressively paying down that mortgage might be one of the most expensive mistakes you can make. $100,000 invested in a broad index fund at a historical 8% return grows to approximately $1.74 million over 30 years. That same $100,000 used to pay off a 4% mortgage saves you about $66,000 in interest. The difference between those two choices is over $1.67 million. And home equity is illiquid. $200,000 in equity means $0 available in an emergency unless you borrow against the house or sell it. It feels like wealth. It doesn't function like wealth when you actually need it. Milestone 7. Max the limits and plan for the catch-up. For 2025, the 401k contribution limit is $23,500 if you're under 50. The average American contributes roughly a third of that. When you turn 50, the IRS lets you contribute an additional $7,500 per year, bringing the total to $31,000. If you max that catch-up provision from 50 to 65 at a 7% return, that extra bucket alone generates roughly $730,000 by retirement. But here's the trap Dave is about to fall into. He tells himself he'll start maximizing at 50. Then 50 arrives and his daughter's in college, his parents need help, the kitchen needs work. The $7,500 evaporates before it's ever made. Build the plan for the catch-up now, before 50 gets here. If you can't max your 401k today, increase your contribution by 1% right now and schedule another 1% increase 6 months from now. Make it automatic. Remove the decision from your monthly willpower budget entirely. The people who successfully use the catch-up don't find discipline every month. They remove the need for it by automating it. Milestone 8. Check your allocation. Last one, and it's the quietest, which is exactly why it does so much damage unnoticed. A lot of people in their 40s set their 401k investment allocation once, maybe when they first enrolled in their 20s, and never touched it again. If that's you, there's a real chance your portfolio is too conservative for where you actually are in life. The old guideline, 100 minus your age in stocks, would put a 40-year-old at 60% stocks, 40% bonds, but a 40-year-old retiring at 65 has 25 years of compounding runway left. At 2.5% annual inflation, your purchasing power erodes by 46% over 25 years. A 40% bond allocation often can't outrun that drag. Modern advisors have largely moved to 110 or 120 minus your age, putting a 40-year-old at 70 to 80% equities. Log into your 401k today. Look at your current allocation. If you haven't touched it since your late 20s, there's a real possibility you've been quietly throttling your own returns for over a decade while thinking you were being responsible. Let me leave you with two versions of Dave. The first Dave didn't look at his account until 43. Kept the car payments, never got the will done, paused his 401k for 3 years to help with college, made extra mortgage payments on his 3.2% rate because it felt responsible. Meant to bump contributions at 50, but life got in the way. He's 67 now. Retirement income, about $29,000 a year. He didn't do anything wrong, exactly. He just never did the right thing specifically enough, at the right time, consistently enough. The second Dave ran the numbers at 43 when it was uncomfortable, not 63 when it was too late. Killed the credit card debt, got a term life policy before his cholesterol became a problem, spent an afternoon on his estate plan, kept funding retirement even when his daughter started college, automated the catch-up before 50 arrived. He's 67 now with $880,000 in retirement accounts, a paid-off home, and the thing that money at its best actually buys, options. Same income, same family, same decade, completely different outcome. The difference between those two Daves isn't talent, luck, or income. It's a series of specific decisions made in a specific window that either happened or didn't. That window is your 40s. It's open right now. Make the decisions while the math still gives you a fighting chance. If this helped, hit subscribe and drop a comment. I read every one. See you in the next one.